McHale who gets the catch. He's got patrol.
Year in the Minnesota State High School League brings in new opportunities for Tartan and North, a chance not only to play between intra-division, intra-school district rivals, and a chance to play at a new stadium for some players, but a chance for an opponent that they have not seen for quite some time. Tonight, the Tartan North Cooperative team takes on the St. Paul Public School Bobcats on Suburban Community Channel's TV 19. From Polar Stadium and North St. Paul High School, I am Alex Westad. And again, a matchup that has not been played for quite some time between these two teams. If you've joined us earlier this season over at Tartan High School, you will recall, of course, that Tartan and North are cooperating for the first time in their combined histories. And neither of these teams have played each other for quite some time. You take a look at our team profiles. Again, very similar in the amount of goals that they are scoring. However, the difference so far, the St. Paul Bobcats, almost half of the goals allowed, 13.25 for Tartan North and 7.14 for the Bobcats. You also talk about the combined records between these two teams. The strength of schedule for the Tartan Titans, 55.2% on the win inside of that. And for the St. Paul Bobcats, 30.8 of the winning percent on the other side for the St. Paul Bobcats. Again, you get even further, the strength of victory for these teams. The victory win percentage for the Bobcats in games that they have won, again, coming into play today with 5 wins, 15% on the strength of victory for the Bobcats. And again, the lone win so far for Tartan North came against a winless Henry Sibley Warriors. As the teams are introduced tonight, the St. Paul Bobcats, again, a cooperative between the St. Paul Public Schools. And you take a look at their roster. Players from Highland Park, Johnson, Highland Park Middle, which is attached to Highland Park High School, as well as Ramsey Middle, Murray Middle, and St. Paul Central. Harding represented as well on the roster. The other schools in there as well that are eligible to be part of this co-op: Como Park, Central, the Minutemen, of course, Humboldt, and Washington Tech. As the starting lineups introduced here for the Tartan North Co-op, you see our weather today. It's beautiful. The windmill just to the east, or the west of here, excuse me, is spinning vivaciously. A slight wind, 11 miles per hour out of the south. It is beautiful, and a beautiful night for lacrosse here in the North Metro. And again, this is our first time back at North St. Paul for quite some time. The beautiful landscape of North St. Paul, Highway 36 behind us. In broadcasts we've done here before, we've remarked that the soccer balls can find their way onto the highway. The lacrosse balls certainly well within that purview as well. We do have to pause here for the playing of the national anthem here at North Stadium. Polar High School, the site of this one once again, as Tartan North takes on the St. Paul Bobcats with the opening face-off in just a few moments. Before we started the national anthem, we referenced the last 5 games on the schedule for the 2 teams that are taking to the field tonight. Again, for St. Paul, 3-2 in their last 5. And for Tartan North, again,
the officials for
just the 1 win in their last 5. Their only win this season coming on May the 4th against Henry Sibley. A dominating effort, 15-2 over the Warriors. And again, there's St. Paul. As again, you see there a 3-game winning streak against Hopkins, Mounds View, and Providence Academy. Their last 3 times out, 3 of their last 5 games, of course, victories. But a good streak for the St. Paul boys lacrosse Bobcats. And on the other side, for the Tartan North, again wearing the Tartan Air Force blue and silver, which certainly to a North St. Paul Polar grad would be a stark comparison to see Tartan hosting a game at North Polars, but I think they're okay with that. Again, the last 5 games upcoming, they have given up a number of goals in double digits in goals allowed in each of their last 4 losses. Again, the 1 win coming against the Henry Sibley Warriors by a score of 15-2. So when they do get defense and they do get goaltending, it does bode well for the Tartan North co-op. As again, without a nickname are Tartan and North. And the girls hockey team and the girls lacrosse team are identified as the TNT, but the boys programs have yet to choose a moniker such as the Bobcats for St. Paul. Our player to watch for the Bobcats, Damian Cunningham, an attacker and midfielder. 6 games played this season so far, 15 goals, 2 assists for a total of 17 points for the senior from St. Paul. And again, his high school is listed on the roster as Johnson High School. So lots of Governors, lots of Scots. So the majority of the roster are Governors or Scots.
Play lacrosse.
And lacrosse night is underway here from North High School. Big battle on the opening face-off. It's won by the Bobcats. It can be taken back here, James Somerville. Somerville across the restraining line on the midfield side, working back his way along the right side wing, trying to find a way in, but he's able to hold back off again. The goaltender for today, as we saw the last time when Tartan North went up to Matamidi, McGuire Kistner in goal tonight for the Tartan North cooperative team. All the way back at midfield as the Bobcats look to reset again. Cunningham. We'll go back here to the near side wing for Owen Jekyll. Jekyll working his way on in, tries a shot, he scores. Big, great, juicy run by number 16, Owen Jekyll, and the Bobcats on the scoreboard first. Might actually be number 18 on that number. Tough to see from here. So either way, the Bobcats on the scoreboard first.
Scoring for St.
And
Paul,
we mentioned
number 18.
one of the things to watch was that strength of schedule, but that's just a beautiful run there
Danielson, although 11:22
by the Bobcats to get on the scoreboard first. And that goal coming at 11:22 of the first quarter. So again, Tartan North chasing from the outset here in this one. Face-off is won and controlled briefly before the ground ball scooped up again here by Tartan North as they work back again into the midfield area. Cutting back, evading the stick check there of Jackson Adkins from Highland Park. All the way around now, Brandon Moreland. Moreland lost it on a ground ball, where it can be recovered by Jackson Adkins. Adkins over the restraining line at center field. Working his way back on in. Once again, we'll cut it all the way back. Tried to shovel it further along for the senior Darren Cunningham. And instead, Cunningham will race here to the near side sideline, battled for and pushed with the foot out of bounds. Some good defensive effort by Noah Flom for Tartan North as he forces a turnover. And Tartan North can take it back again. Flom evading a good couple of stick checks there by Cunningham. Flom still with possession. Stick check delivered again by Charlie Eichens from Highland Park. Ground ball out of bounds. And possession will go for the St. Paul Bobcats again. If you're new to boys lacrosse, 4 quarters of 12 minutes. It's a combination, as described to me by Mark Woodcock, who I believe still works at North St. Paul High School in the health department as a teacher, as a combination of basketball, hockey, and football all in one. There are some similarities certainly between hockey and football all the same. Breck Putzier Over the restraining line, goes to the right side wing, can get gotten further along now, all the way behind the net. Good chance here for Blake Tecito. In front, looking, wow, beautiful finish. Miles Worst on the slot pass out in front, and the game tied at 1 very quickly, and a nice response by Tartan North.
Scoring for Tartan North, number 14, Miles Worst. Assisted by number 25.
How's this for a run, too? The flag was up, so the goal will stand regardless. But for the goaltender for Tartan North, Ruben Santos Macaulay, no chance there. Beautiful run by the freshman, Miles Worst, for Tartan North as he finds the back of the net. And all of a sudden, the game tied at 1. We mentioned in our open, both of these teams proficient at scoring goals, as both average about 13 goals per game. And so far, that trend continues, as in the early going here of quarter number 1, we are all tied at a goal apiece. On the face-off, possession controlled by the Bobcats as they'll carry it back on in over the restraining line, with possession held here once again. It is certainly frustrating how close that 16 is to an 18 on the back of the jersey for the Bobcats, but perhaps just whining from me. Somerville onto the far side behind the net, can be taken by the sophomore Emmett Ishins from Highland Park. Chance here now for Mac Rosbaka. Rosbaka, good shove delivered there by Sean Cashin as the ball all the way back onto the ground, trying to scoop up are the Tartan North, and it's gotten to and recovered by Carter Ekstrom. Ball back on the ground, still battled for, loose now again for Ekstrom, and then a great recovery there as well as Tartan back again over the restraining line. Pass in front, was looking for an open Blake Tecito, but the ball goes out of bounds. Be scooped up again behind by the Bobcats behind the net. Leo Brock. And again, just a little bit of play on the ground there. Good recovery by Leo Brock for the Bobcats as they'll reset again. As we're at the 8:54 mark remaining of quarter number 1, all tied at 1. Here on this beautiful Thursday night, another pass in front and a high shot, glove side score. Kai Semlak on the board for the Bobcats, and it's 2-1. On transition offense in lacrosse is one of the more difficult things to master because of the restraining line at midfield, the line through which 6 players must be on either side. And that was a perfectly executed transition by the Bobcats. As Kai Semlak able to finish off that chance on a great pass out in front to give the Bobcats the lead again. So the Bobcats have led twice, Tartan North yet to lead so far. Dug out, great face-off by Jacob Schwinghammer. Noah Schwinghammer now with possession on the right side around a soft Tecito screen, battled for, perfectly timed stick check delivered by Damian Cunningham. Cunningham to start the rush back the other way for the Bobcats of St. Paul. Again, a cooperative big check delivered on the far side by Brandon Moreland. Beautiful play on that far side to force the ball back over for Tartan. Putzier resets at the top of the circle in the playing surface here as the offense will communicate. Again, Breck Putzier was our player to watch the last time we covered this Tartan North team back up in Matamidi. And a very efficient scorer with a number of high-quality scoring opportunities. He leads the team in goals and points this year with 23 and 31. Ball back behind the net. The goaltender, Ruben Santos Macaulay, will take it back the other way for St. Paul. The only goaltender to get a start for the Bobcats this year, a record of 5-2 so far in games this season, as we have a holding violation called, possession for Tartan North. Clock will wind and away we'll go once more. Putzier trying to avoid the stick check there of the LSM, Charlie Ishins. Back down low, Tecito. Tecito on the sidearm sling to Putzier once again. Putzier trying to avoid. Again, the LSM playing down a little bit. Ishins tripped him up a little bit. Flags and whistles stay down. Oh, there is a flag. We'll see what we have here. We're gonna have a holding for a 30-second technical. So 30-second man-up situation for Tartan North. The first man-up situation for either side tonight. And Tartan North will get it with 7:30 remaining here in the first quarter. 2-1. The Bobcats in front. Goals from Worst for Tartan North and Semlak and Jekyll for the St. Paul Bobcats. Tecito to play it once the whistle goes. From the right side wing is Bobcats have to get their 5th player back on the defensive side of the restraining line, and now here we go. Putsier from behind the net. Putsier looking for an outlet pass in the middle, finds it here now. Good shot on goal. Great save by the goaltender Santos Macaulay off the shot of Brandon Moreland. And now the Bobcats are covering, and they'll start the transition offense once again. Good pressure delivered by Jake Schwinghammer, forcing a turnover briefly before it's scooped up again by the Bobcats. Is working his way all the way in, tried a little bit of an arced shot there to Atticus Danielson. The ball goes out of bounds on the shot, so Bobcats possession. Rosbaka avoiding, whistle blows. And we have white ball, so Tartan North will get it here again. Tori Grace-Counts. Further up ahead over the restraining line, Leo Milan. Milan working back into the attacking third, Tecito. Tecito will back it up to survey what the field is giving him. And now just a few more seconds remaining on the technical to the Bobcats. So still a man-up situation for Tartan North. Putsier looking for the outlet, tried to find it Milan. Good recovery there by Tartan North as it's scooped up back here on a beautifully timed stick check by Leo Brock from Highland Park. Whistle blows, possession Tartan North again. Milan as the Bobcats return to full strength. Working down the way, Moreland, nice shot and a good chance there by Putsier, out of bounds. Tartan North closest to it, possession stays with the blue and silver. Tecito, as the whistle blows, working his way back laterally to the goal line, looking for a pass out in front, tried to connect out there. As the ball once again rolls near the sideline, great stop by Moreland on that far side wing. Brandon Moreland back down and let go. Down and low again, was looking out for Darren Tvet out in front. Before it can be picked up again by Tvet for Tartan North. All the way down in, Moreland whistle blows. And we'll have a turnover committed there as St. Paul will take possession again. The clock will wind, 5:42 remaining, 2-1. St. Paul up over Tartan North. And Tartan North yet to lead in this game. The lead as big as 2, and a good stop by Kistner on a running shot with motion delivered by the LSM Charlie Eichens, and a great save by Kistner. On the forecheck, beautiful pressure delivered by St. Paul. Is on the check. Rosbaka forces a turnover, whistle blows. We'll have a push that gets called, possession for White. So Tartan North will look to reset again. Grace Counts, long pass further up ahead, well caught by Putsier on the attacking third. Putsier to reset, slowing it down, tried to pass out in front, was looking for Darren Tvet out in front before getting scooped up back on the ground ball situation here. As again, all the way back off to the far side, Owen Colshaw-Klein. Colshaw-Klein pass wide open in front, beautiful save and a beautiful check delivered by Damien Cunningham. Ruben Santos Macaulay had it played perfectly as wide open in front. Blake Tecito had a golden opportunity but could not finish it off. Well read by Putsier again. Another great chance by Brandon Moreland denied on the season. That's his first of the evening, and Tartan North has tied it at 2.
Scoring for Tartan North, number 11, Brandon Moreland. Unassisted, 4:30.
Well, it was a pretty good pass from Putsier right in the middle area, and a great recovery by Moreland to scoop that back up. And I think that the goaltender Santos Macaulay was expecting the defense to help him out a little bit there. But good persistence by the senior Moreland to stay with the ball, pick it up off the ground, and we'll have a timeout here taken by the Bobcats, as with 4:30 remaining here in quarter number 1. We're all tied at 2 as the teams have traded goals back and forth. St. Paul scored first, Tartan North responded. St. Paul scored again, Tartan North responded again. We talked too about the last time that these teams have played each other. As 2 separate programs, Tartan and North. Tartan has only played St. Paul Bobcats 1 time. That coming back on the 30th of May 2018 in a section play-in game. A 10-0 victory for Tartan over St. Paul. And for North St. Paul, the Polars against St. Paul, the Bobcats lead that head-to-head 3-1, with St. Paul winning each of the last 2 contests, 3-1 all time against the North St. Paul Polars. 2 of those playoff matchups as well. So a very tightly competitive matchup between these 2 teams who, despite sharing St. Paul in their names, certainly don't play each other that often. Again, Section 4 itself will be something that we'll talk about as the evening goes on, as unbelievably we're already into the middle of May, and the playoff contests are right around the corner. Again, that section seeding starting to waver itself out. A shorter season for lacrosse than normal, but it appears, based on what we're hearing from across the high school league, a return to normalcy and normal contest seasons, as Kevin Lindahl certainly would like to see that. Longtime Tartan head lacrosse coach coming over to coach this co-op, and of course challenges there as well. Making relationships with new players from a different high school, forming those dynamics between players from two different buildings with different rule sets. Was certainly a task taken on by Kevin Lindahl, but one that he's done well. Certainly, hopefully, the players on both sides appreciative of the effort that everyone's been putting in this year. So off the face-off, St. Paul with possession again. It's all the way back out here now to the Highland Park sophomore James Somerville. Somerville will defer once again, working in, trying a nice little cut move. Somerville bothered by Schwinghammer for Tartan North, and a beautiful play by Schwinghammer. Trying to scoop that back up as it's down near the ground. Couple of stick checks delivered, recovered. Whistle blows as a push has been called. Possession for Tartan North. So clock will resume. Again, the clock goes out of bounds. We'll have some laundry here. And I think we might get a cross-check call that'll go against Kai Semlak for St. Paul. It should be a minute penalty upcoming for the Bobcats as the ball now scooped up by St. Paul. And we will get the penalty. No, just a 30-second technical. So we'll have, again, second man-up situation of the game. St. Paul yet to receive a man-up. Tartan North has had one already. Had a couple of shots on it, but no goals to speak of on the man-up situations as of yet. So behind the net, Brandon Moreland with a goal tonight. As you look to give way, possession here for Putsier. All the way back to the point, Jacob Schwinghammer. Putsier again, back down to low once again for Moreland. Good save made by Santos McCauley in net for the Bobcats. Ball out of bounds on the shot, possession for Tartan North. Putsier looking to find Moreland out in front. Ooh, good shot again from Putsier. Tecito closest, so possession again staying for Tartan North. Really strong man-up possession here for the Air Force Blue and Silver. They'll continue to work here man-up. All the way back out, Schwinghammer, Milan, Tecito again. Tecito's side once more for Moreland behind the net. Moreland looking out in front for Schwinghammer. Shot wide to the right of Santos McCauley. Out of bounds. Tartan North closest. Moreland just scoops it up as the Bobcats have returned to full strength. Moreland, Putsier, trying to evade the stick check there of Cunningham, working his way on in. Lost it with a stick to the cage as he reached for the cage. No flag, no push called there. Possession again for Tartan North. Putsier, working on the right-hand side again, trying to navigate towards Charlie Eishens, the LSM. Back on the ground, a little bit too far for Milan. The ball will roll out of bounds, and St. Paul will take advantage of the turnover. Again, another well-positioned, well-designed man-up situation for Tartan North, but just unable to get a shot past the sophomore goaltender, Ruben Santos McCauley. So it'll be possession again for the Bobcats, working here on the near-hand side. Damian Cunningham. Again, looking to restart play. Now that the whistle blows, he will. Cunningham evades the check there, Putsier as he gets across the restraining line, able to hold on to possession, though, on the secondary check by Moreland. Good stick check delivered there, back the other way by Tartan North as they'll scoop it back up. Over the restraining line, odd man rush if they hurry. On the left-hand side, we'll cut it back. Looking all the way back to the middle, Milan. Milan here for Putsier. Putsier, a good closeout, executed there by Eishens for St. Paul. But again, Putsier looking to get his name on the scorebook. It's probably not a great sign for the senior Breck Putsier, but in the two games of Tartan North that we've done on SEC TV this year, Putsier has yet to score a goal in those contests. So 23 goals when not on SEC TV, a trend that both he and us hope changes tonight. Over the restraining line. Good stick delivered there as Grace Collins is able to keep it on the attacking side for Tartan North. Pressure delivered. Putsier will have it again on the left-hand wing. 1:28 remaining. First quarter all tied at 2. Ball on the feet of Noah Schwinghammer. He's able to scoop it up. A nice check delivered back again there by Charles Caker from Highland Park. And still Ball in possession of Tartan and North. Puts here to the right side wing. A soft screen set by Tuxedo as we'll have a flag that gets called here on the Bobcats. As falling down was Breck Putsier, and I think there was a little something after the contact there. The cross-check will be called, a 1-minute penalty. So the third man-up situation of quarter number 1 here for Tartan North. And this is a chance. We're in the last man-up situation. While just a 30-second technical, a number of chances came the way of Tartan North. They really liked using Putsier, Moreland, and Milan on that left-hand side. We'll see if they choose to execute it again here. Putsier will work his way back to behind the net. The LSM now, Jackson Adkins defensively. Pass out in front was looking for Schwinghammer. Milan able to pick it back up. Schwinghammer again. Challenged and the ball put back on the ground. Good scoop by Milan to keep play alive. Tuxedo. Milan on the right side, going back to the center again. Jake Schwinghammer. Good save that time by Moreland. Rips a shot. He scores. Brandon Moreland, a man-up goal, and for the first time tonight, Tartan North takes a 1-goal lead.
Scoring for Tartan North, number 11, Brandon Moreland. Assisted by number 2, Jacob Schwinghammer.
It is the similarities to hockey
Seconds, first quarter.
that make the man-up situations easier to practice, that familiarity from sport to sport, and working that ball around that upper umbrella. A good closeout delivered defensively by number 15, Jacob King, the freshman from St. Paul. But the strength of the shot by the senior Moreland, as he's got a pair on the evening. That gives Tartan North a 3-2 lead here with just a few moments, 39 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Whistle blows as they adjudicate that Milan had moved before the whistle had blown. So free possession here for the Bobcats. Somerville over the restraining line will slow things down, trying to work around Leo Milan defensively. Most teams in the high school league have their set face-off specialists. Milan's certainly one of those. He's been doing a wonderful job on it. Good check sided there by Darren Tvet, but still possession again for the Bobcats. Long shot, score! LSM with the extra torque on a beautiful goal by Charlie Eichens, and we're tied at 3. Again, there's that advantage too of having that longer stick where if done right, you can generate more power at the sacrifice of accuracy. And for McGuire Kistner, not much to be done there. As even when you come out to challenge angle, still plenty of places to look. Good scoop there. Again, and just a wonderful shot by Eichens over the top. Well executed, well positioned. And it appears as though after the first 12 minutes of play, barring this, we'll be tied at 3. Well checked, delivered, as it goes all the way back down to below. Still recovered here by Mac Rosbaca from St. Paul Johnson. The horn will sound. And at the end of the first 12 minutes of play, back and forth, the name of the game, with the St. Paul Bobcats 3 goals, and the Tartan North 3 goals as well. Again, at the end of the first quarter, we saw, again, a pretty good back and forth as both teams have had the chance to lead here. Tartan North has led by 1 goal. The Bobcats have led by 1 goal twice. So back and forth certainly has been the way in which these teams have operated, and will continue to do so here, as this has just been a fantastic opening 12 minutes, and perhaps more of that coming up in the next 12. Again, we'll take a look at the goals. It started early for the St. Paul Bobcats as running in, shot to the left of the goaltender McGuire. Beautiful run by Owen Jekyll from Highland Park, and then responded to on a great catch and shoot by Miles Worst to tie the game at 1. Then back on the counter. Another great play. Wide open in front. Nice delivered there by Kai Semlak for the St. Paul Bobcats. Give them the lead. Then Brandon Moreland. Excellent recovery. Shot it low on the goaltender Santos McCauley to tie the game at 2. Then with the man-up situation, Brandon Moreland would find the back of the net once more to give them a brief lead, as responding the LSM for the St. Paul Bobcats. Charlie Eichens with a goal to tie it at 3, and that's how we ended after the first 12 minutes. Again, you see their shots on goal so far, 5 for Tartan North, 4 for the St. Paul Bobcats. Again, your scoring leader through the first 12 minutes of play is that of the senior number 12, Brandon number 11, Brandon Moreland. Number 12 is Sean Cashin, who is a junior. And that's how we finished after the first 12 minutes of play here from Polar High School. And the beautiful town of North St. Paul, Minnesota. Again, we have one more broadcast coming up for you in the regular season. That'll be next Friday. We'll be over at White Bear Stadium as this same Tartan North Co-op on the girls' side will take on the White Bear Lake Bears girls lacrosse. We have a couple of section playoff games tentatively scheduled depending on how our teams do in those contests. Again, section playoff wrapping up rapidly. And in a year that's been so frustrating and at times inconsistent, difficult to follow along with, it's nice to see that so far this spring, no interruptions, no problems, just back to good old sport. Face off at center here for the second 12 minutes of 4. As early moving already was Jacob Schwinghammer. The official did not even so much as blow the whistle before possession had been given to James Somerville for the Bobcats. Somerville back again on the restraining line, streaking down the right-hand side. Soft screen set there by Semlak. Still with possession again here. Somerville to the left side. Now the Bobcats looking into the sun here in the second quarter. All the way back to the far side, Damian Cunningham. Cunningham will race back to the middle, looking for that outlet pass and trying to find Owen Jekyll as Jekyll switches up the defense there. Good race in, beautifully timed by Carter Ekstrom to send that flying high to the windmill. Great read by Ekstrom for Tartan North. But as the Bobcats closest to the shot when it went out of bounds, the possession will stay here. Working his way in, shot high and over the cross of Kistner, out of bounds. Tartan North closest, so they will get possession here. It is one of the odder differences in sport in that lacrosse is really the only one where after a shot, if you're closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds, you are awarded possession. It's an oddity, certainly, but one that just adds a little something to the game. This possession continues. Schwinghammer on the attacking side of the restraining line, all the way back once again here for Nolan Flom. Reset down there to Cito. As a ball knocked off of his cross, it goes all the way back again where it could be scooped up further by Charlie Ishins back the other way for the Bobcats. Ishins on the left-hand side tried to get around Sean Cashin. He does so, but out of bounds. Cashin, beautiful check delivered with the LSM stick, forcing the streaking Cunningham out of bounds, and possession again for Tartan North. As again, we have 10:34 remaining now, second quarter, all tied at 3. Here on the left side, as we'll work once again around this umbrella, get more players on, racing from the sideline. On the fly changes here in boys and girls lacrosse. Whistle blows, we will have a violation that gets called. Possession for the Bobcats. Quickly back up with it. St. Paul will carry back again. Charles Caker from Highland Park, a flag about 20 yards out. You saw that Breck Putzier did not like the call, so we believe it'll be against him. But a delayed penalty call upcoming for the Bobcats as they'll operate down and low. Ross Backa, as the Bobcats look to take the lead again for the third time today. Ross Backa out in front. Ooh, collides still with possession. Now the ground ball scooped up again by the Bobcats. Working his way on in, wide to the left of the goaltender Kistner, out of bounds. We'll see what the penalty is. This will be a technical for being offsides to number 9, Breck Putzier. Again, there was the exchange of the look by Putzier with the official as soon as the flag was thrown. A nice throw, about 25 yards up the field. So a possession on a man-up situation, the first of the evening for the St. Paul Bobcats. Again, a team that comprises the 7 public high schools and some middle schools in the St. Paul public school system. Shot on, good save by Kistner off the shot of Damian Cunningham. On the rebound, scooped up by Ross Back on the far side. Cunningham takes a couple of steps towards the middle, looking for an outlet there, tries to get past one check, still does not. And again, reset again to the middle. Wow, beautifully timed read as well by Tartan North as they'll carry possession. Getting back to the strong hand, trying to look out in front, check from behind, delivered. And a good recovery by the goaltender, Macaulay Santos. Through midfield. Carrying it back in again, Owen Jekyll who started the scoring early on in this one, just 30 seconds in to the contest. Swung to the far side, a great read delivered by Cashin. Good recovery on the stick check, delivered the other way by Damian Cunningham. Cunningham here to the left side on a grounder. Able to hold on to it. Good shove off there by Jekyll, working his way into the slot. And the ball back on the ground again. Recovered here by the Bobcats in Somerville. We have a whistle blow and a timeout called by the St. Paul Bobcats. That'll be their second of the first half. 8:36 remaining. We're still tied at 3. And for a back and forth first quarter, a little bit more defense, a little bit more quality goaltending, both by McGuire Kistner for Tartan North and for Ruben Santos McCauley of Highland Park High School for the St. Paul Bobcats. Again, taking a look at the Metro East, as Tartan North playing out of the Metro East, no major surprises. St. Thomas Academy, the Cadets, top of the table, 5-0, 10 points, 6-2 overall. The Matamidi, Simley, Hill Murray, Hastings, the Tartan North Co-op, and Henry Sibley rounding out the Metro East Conference this 2021 season. For the Bobcats of St. Paul, they're one of the Minnesota State High School League independents as well. Just 0-1, and against teams who are also independents in the state of Minnesota. Providence Academy, the other 14. That's not right, I'm sorry. I believe that's not right at all. No, it's Duluth, that's right. 6-8 loss to the Duluth Bobcats. There he is in all its glory. Snowman of North St. Paul. The view that we have missed, certainly, but we do love seeing that beautiful snowman out by the Holiday gas station sign. There's Kai Semlak with a golden eye for the St. Paul Bobcats, still tied at 3. The goals for the Bobcats have come from Semlak, Jekyll, and Ishins. So all 3 goals coming by way of Highland Park Scots so far in the early going. As Tartan North returning to full strength. Here's a runner all the way from the far side, looking back out in front. Good save by Kistner in the crease. McGuire Kistner with a beautiful read on that shot. And it was a challenging one, as streaking in on the left-hand side. Charlie Ishins looking for his second. And a great read by McGuire Kistner. On the forecheck, though, the ball will go out of bounds, can be recovered. Cashin battling for it on the far side with Russ Bacca looking for possession, and Russ Bacca takes it away. Pass out in front for Emmett Ishins, out of bounds on the shot. And possession for Tartan North, as they rule that McGuire Kistner was there closest. And possession for Tartan North. Well, as much ire has been drawn certainly to McGuire Kistner in the first quarter of play, not really much you could do as a lacrosse goalie with some of these shots that St. Paul has been delivering. But he has been strong here in the second quarter. Good number of saves and an excellent play by the sophomore for Tartan North. On the right side, possession again for Tartan North. Carter Ekstrom, the LSM, looking for, battled for, whistle blows before the pass was made. We have another timeout as Kevin Lindahl will take the timeout here. 7:31 remaining second quarter, 7:31 remaining in this opening half of play. Again, the teams traded goals back and forth in the first quarter. 2 goals from Brandon Moreland, 1 from Miles Worst for Tartan North, and then goals from Kai Semlak, Owen Jekyll, and Charlie Ishins for the St. Paul Bobcats. And that's how we've gotten to where we are. As through here in the second quarter of play, both of these teams combined, as the last goal for St. Paul came with 39 seconds left. These teams combined have been held scoreless for the past 4 minutes and 52 seconds of playing time. And boys lacrosse being held scoreless for a margin of that length, so rare, so infrequent, as these goals oftentimes come in bunches. It's one of the great things where, for lacrosse, you admire the goal scoring capabilities, but you also admire the defensive capabilities as well. It's just that perspective compared to soccer, compared to hockey, has to be adjusted just a little bit. Again, Kevin Lindahl, the Tartan North head coach on the left, Aaron Lipkin, the St. Paul head coach on the right. And again, we talked about the challenge Kevin Lindahl has this year of uniting these players from different schools. For Aaron Lipkin, very much the same responsibility. 7 different schools from which these players come. Again, creating that commonality when you have players that you don't see every day. classmates that you work with on the field that you don't get aside from practice. It is a challenge. And for both of the gentlemen coaches, I do admire them for it. This ball battled for. Putzier trying to battle around. Good battle down low by Atkins. And Putzier will be able to walk away with it. Possession here again for Tartan North. As they look again to set up this umbrella. The shadows covering the midfield area. Not much of an obstruction. If anything, probably helpful for the goaltenders on the east end of the stadium before a ground ball scooped up again here back the other way. Akis Danielson. Good return and a good recovery there by Grace Collins as the ball looking for Tecito. Hits off of his shins back over the restraining line. Possession again for St. Paul. Jekyll to the right side wing can be recovered here and then reset once more for Kai Semlak with a goal tonight for St. Paul. Charles Caker from Highland Park. On the right side, working his way back into the slot. He'll have to deke around. Colshaw Klein is unable to do so. Ball back down a little further for Rosbacka. As the ball still waiting to be free, Rosbacka will take it behind his net, trying to battle around. Great challenge. Good stand-up tackle there by Tori Grace Collins, working out in front. Good post delivery. And the post helps out McGuire Kistner there as the ball goes out of bounds, but possession still for the Bobcats. It was a battle by Tori Grace Collins out in front to try to keep Mac Rosbacka forced to the outside. Rosbacka beat him to the edge. Was able to get a good shot on, but the crossbar helps McGuire Kistner there. And when you're hot, you're hot. That's exactly what McGuire Kistner has been in the second quarter. Ground ball, Semlak. Semlak evades a stick check there, takes the advantage of the LSM Ekstrom losing the basket part of the cross, goes out of bounds. Possession for Tartan North. So as we sit here, 5:43 remaining, all tied at 3. Again, the goalless drought continues between these two teams. They came into play today as we compare the two teams, averaging 13 goals apiece in a game. Yet these teams, they've gotten good opportunities. It's been the defenses here as of late who have shown the strongest. Clock winds, play resumes. Grace Collins with the LSM looking for an outlet. Carries it back to the midfield area. Grace Collins trying to work around Rosbacka. Ground ball forced nicely by the St. Paul Bobcat before scooped up again by Grace Collins over the restraining line. Tori Grace Collins denied on a perfect stick check delivered by Owen Jekyll for the Bobcats. Beautiful spin back the other way. The St. Paul and the Bobcats working back on the left-hand side. Jekyll, as Ishans rather, looking for an outlet pass. Walking in the midfield area, waiting for the change to be completed here for St. Paul. Takes that extra time. 5 minutes exactly remaining. Still tied at 3. Highland Park Scott, Charlie Ishans working around Grace Collins with a shot high off the top of the crossbar, back down. Ball grounded out. Still battling for a check delivered there. It's loose. Still working out down into the front of the area. Unable to do it as the denied again. A wonderful timed stick check by Nolan Flom. And the ball all the way back out through the midfield area on the counterattack for Tartan North. Breck Putzier scores! Breck Putzier finds the back of the net. His scoring streak has extended. And his scoring drought on Suburban Community Channels has ended. So again for Putzier, giving Tartan North their second lead of the game. It's on the counterattack. We saw a lot of this quality counterattack play by the Bobcats in that first quarter, but it's been Tartan North on this rush. As again, you see there, Putzier keeps the legs moving, and at that point, Santos just has to stay as square as he can. He just found a short, open area to fire that home, so the senior Breck Putzier gets onto the scoreboard with his 24th of the season, and Tartan North has regained the lead at 4-3. Pushing for another one, Tecito battling for a ground ball, kicked it further ahead now before it's still battled for further along. The whistle will blows. We'll have a hold that gets called. There in possession for Tartan North. This will be Jake Schwinghammer. On the far side, he'll swing it all the way back to Leo Milan. Reset again in the middle as they looked again to continue to maintain the offensive zone time. Milan on the left side. Moreland Spins out of one check, tries to go lower for Putsier, but Putsier will scoop it back off the ground and keep the play moving once again. Putsier working laterally around, trying to avoid Eichen's stick checks, able to do so. Side cross court pass, Tecito scores! What a goal by Blake Tecito, and the largest lead of the night for either team as Tartan North leads by 2.
Assisted by number 9, Brett Putsier.
That was a beautiful pass by Brett Putsier going cross court. And it doesn't matter what sport it is. If you have to go post to post out on the goal like that, take a look at this. Putsier, boom, all the way to Tecito with that sidearm shot. No chance for Ruben Santos Macaulay. And the largest lead of the night for either team, 5-3. Off the face-off. Possession gotten to first by Jacob King for the St. Paul Bobcats as they regain the restraining line back the other way. We have a flag down. No. Eyes deceived me there. Centering pass in front. Good save by McGuire Kistner on a good shot by Owen Jekyll. All the way back out. Can be taken further along now as the Tartan North team will regain the restraining line. Stick check delivered there by Atticus Danielson. Still battling for it. Further up ahead now to Tecito. Deferred further for Putsier. Putsier looking for an outlet. He'll skate it behind the net. Putsier, side shoveled for Moreland near the official. He'll have to come all the way to the near side to get back to it. Brandon Moreland leads all Tartan North, scores with 2 on the night. Moreland looking for a third, denied briefly. Whistle will blow, and what have we here? Violation called on Tartan North, so possession granted to St. Paul and the Bobcats. Leo Brock with the LSM stick, working it all the way back to the midfield, way out to the far side of the field, gotten further for Charles Caker. Caker over the restraining line, gets around Jake Schwinghammer for Tartan North. Schwinghammer gives again for Jean Cashin. Beautiful pass, beautiful save by Kistner as Kai Semlak was looking for his second. Nice run into the attacking third by Caker as Semlak got the shot after Caker got around both Schwinghammer and Cashin. Possession still for the Bobcats. Working his way on in, Rusbacka maintains possession through a couple of stick checks delivered. Got to again here by Caker, the junior. All the way back out as the Bobcats will reset. 2:06 remaining here. Quarter number 2, 5-3. Tartan North leads in a shot that just got fanned on a little bit. As we'll come all the way here to the near side. Gathered by Charles Caker. All the way back down. Lowe was looking for a clean pass to Kai Semlak, unable to get it. And an unforced error there gives Tartan North a chance to return with a counter. McGuire Kistner playing out of the net. Corey Grace Collins looking for an outlet pass, looking. He'll carry it back up midfield now. Grace Collins with a pass well into the attacking side, looking for Tecito, hops over him and out of play. So an unforced error will give the Bobcats a chance back the other way. Charlie Eichens will take the 5 yards before the clock will wind. He's able to do so. Possession again, Damian Cunningham. It's Cunningham working into the attacking third, denied very well by this Tartan North defense as they'll reset possession again. Still plenty of time for the Johnson Governor, Damian Cunningham. As he works it all the way back out to the midfield area. Cunningham cuts to the right-hand side, working his way in, shot wide to the left of the goaltender, Kistner. Possession stays for St. Paul and the Bobcats. Rusbacka with possession, clock will wind. Rusbacka will have to get around Anthony Keene if he wants to try to put a shot on goal. He's able to do so, and a good closeout by the defense out in front as Kistner will fling one high into the air. Whistle will blow. We have a timeout and possession called by Tartan and North. So the timeout taken, 54 seconds remaining, quarter number 2. And a good timeout by Kevin Lindahl there, as the pressure was certainly on McGuire Kistner to get rid of the ball. And a good timeout taken by Kevin Lindahl. So with 54 seconds remaining, Tartan North leads 5-3 over the St. Paul Bobcats. It was all tied at the end of the first quarter. And a pretty strong, consistent defensive back and forth between these teams in quarter number 2. for goals by Breck Putzier and Blake Tocito have given Tartan North a 2-goal lead, the largest lead of the game for either team. There have been 5 lead changes so far, as St. Paul has led by as many as 3 times, and Tartan has led twice as well. You see there again fans in attendance today. Of course, no capacity restrictions outdoors anymore. Masks as of tomorrow, thanks to the governor's change in policy, will be up to the individual companies, establishments, whatever that may be. Of course, a beautiful night. Why wouldn't you want to come out and watch some high school lacrosse? Out of the timeout. We'll have 54 seconds remaining. Again, you can see there. Follow us on social media to let us know where you will be watching from next. SEC TV on Facebook, SEC TV Sports on Twitter, and the same on Instagram and YouTube. Again, we mentioned we are winding down our broadcast for the year as the 2020-21 athletic calendar will certainly be winding down. The school year itself winding down as well. Just 4 weeks remaining of the school year. I'm sure for the students who may be watching, plenty of time. Ooh, and a good chance on the backhand behind the shoulder by Darren Tvet goes out of bounds, and possession for Tartan North. And for the parents that might be watching this, chance for many for a more normal summer. Possession again for Tartan North as they still work in the attacking half. 26 seconds remaining in this first half. Putzier with a golden eye for Tartan North, lowers his shoulder, drives his way on into the slot area, evades one stick check. Putzier again, hits the inside part of the crossbar. Easiest goal you could ever have. Darren Tvet on the board, and the Tartan North lead is now 3. Well, it was just enough taken off the edge on the shot there by Breck Putzier that it just kind of fell right at the feet of the sophomore Darren Tvet. And at that point, you'll notice on the replay here, not much effort, plenty of effort, not much strength, not much power, just scoop it up, stash it home. And so that'll give Tartan and extend the largest lead of the night now, 3 goals, 13 seconds, the time of the goal for Darren Tvet, as 5 different Tartan North players have gotten on the scoreboard. They might have another chance here. 10 seconds remaining here in the first half. That ground ball won't do it though. And a chance back the other way for the St. Paul Bobcats. Leo Brock in the attacking third, winds a shot, spiked it into the ground, goes out of bounds, and the horn will sound before St. Paul able to get one last chance on it. And after a back and forth first quarter, Tartan North dominant here in quarter number 2 as they score 3 times to take a 6-3 lead into the half over the St. Paul Bobcats. We'll be back in just a few moments to recap this first half of play. 6-3 the score here on your home for Tartan North Boys Lacrosse.
What's more dangerous? A man who isn't afraid of death, or one who's found everything to live for? I asked him if he was proud of me. He emphatically said yes, as he laid his pecan-colored head on my chest, and I went through my mind 1,000 times to figure out what that could possibly mean, and every single example ended in motivation for me. So you may not be afraid to die, but I'm more afraid to let them down. And I found something to live for, which is a dangerous motive forever fueled. See, your thoughts may be involuntary, but my actions are very calculated. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. My sons ain't raised by no coward, and they won't be one either. If this be the measure of a man, the yardstick gonna need way more meters. I take it too far, so they never come up short, because I found everything to live for.
COVID-19 has changed how we hang with our girls. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to girls tripping instead of solo sipping. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Should I get it? Is it safe? Should I wait?
It's smart to question. Now get the facts at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you.
Regardless of where you are on your path to retirement,
you can still take charge of your financial future today. Visit aceyourretirement.org and answer a few questions from Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach, for free tips, resources, and advice customized for your situation to help you feel confident and prepared for retirement. Retirement looks different for everyone. Make sure you're prepared for your financial future at aceyourretirement.org.
COVID-19 has changed how we show up and show out with our family. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to talking smack with a side of mac and cheese. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Should I get it? Is it safe?
Should I wait?
It's smart to question. Now, get the facts at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Well, if Smokey the Bear wants to prevent forest fires, he might not be able to put out the fire that is the Tartan North offense here in the second quarter, as after the first 24 minutes of play, Tartan North 6, St. Paul Bobcats 3. Here from North High, Alex Westhead with you here. Again, a back and forth first quarter that ended at 3 goals apiece, resulted in 3 goals in the second quarter for Tartan North. As again, we take a look at some of the highlights here from the opening 24 minutes of play. Owen Jekyll from Highland Park was able to get onto the scoreboard first. That started the scoring. Then Brandon Moreland with a beautiful play. That's Miles Worst, rather, finishing off that chance. Then back on the counter, the goals will continue to come as there's Kai Semlak with his goal, his first of the game. Perhaps more to come from Kai as we move forward. Then Brandon Moreland, great individual effort, picking up his loose ball, able to fire that one home, tying the game at 2. Then on the man-up situation, Moreland would score again to make it a 3-2 game in favor of Tartan North. Good response, though, back the other way by the Bobcats, is firing that one home. Charlie Ishins, that tied the game at 3. Then on the counterattack, Brooke Putzier, halfway through the second quarter, gives Tartan North the 4-3 lead. They would find the back of the net again, thanks to Putzier on a beautiful pass from Tecito all the way across to give Tecito a goal. Then on the second chance again, Putzier with the shot, the rebound dug out, and a nice play by Darren DeVette. That gives the Tartan North cooperative team a 6-3 lead at the end of the first half. Shots on goal 8-7 in favor of Tartan North in that first half. Again, Moreland leads all individual goal scorers with 2 apiece. 5 Tartan North players are on the scoreboard. 3 Bobcats are on the scoreboard for St. Paul, as the Bobcats have been held scoreless for the last 12 minutes of play. Well, we'll be back to start the second half in just a few moments. Hopefully Smokey the Bear can't put out the forest fire that is this flamin' hot broadcast. Alex Westhead with you here from Bowler High School. 6-3 the score at the half. You're on your home for Tartan North Boys Lacrosse.
When we walk, when we reach, when we play, we're moving through life. Lately, we haven't been moving enough. An estimated 80% of Americans aren't getting their recommended daily physical activity. This is a health crisis, and the solution is in our hands and our feet. It's on our shoulders, it's on our backs, it's in our souls. It's time to move and keep moving, America. Wherever you are, however you can. Movement reduces your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. It improves your brain function, pain management, and immune system. And when you need help, physical therapists and physical therapist assistants are by your side, increasing your strength and mobility and improving your quality of life through prescribed exercise and teamwork. Because we are meant to climb, to dance, to soar, to thrive. Choose to move. Choose physical therapy.
Do you know a veteran who served in Vietnam and later died due to Agent Orange exposure or PTSD? Nearly 3 million Americans served in Vietnam. Most returned home, but thousands have had their lives cut short.
Our brother, Staff Sergeant Jim Gumbel, U.S. Army.
My daddy, Malcolm James Stanford, Vietnam.
For my father and my hero, Ramon Luis Rodriguez Garcia, U.S. Army.
The In Memory program honors these veterans through a special ceremony held at the wall in Washington, D.C. Families are invited to read their loved ones' names. Many of these family members suffered for decades alongside their veterans as they fought illnesses related to their service. You can nominate your loved one to have their service recognized on the site of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. It costs nothing to nominate a veteran. Please visit vvemf.org/inmemory today.
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. Both of our children came to us in amazing ways. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much, from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night, and every moment in between. It really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children, because I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them, and I know that they're going to make the world a better place.
Starting to set here on the Snowman in North St. Paul as we're set and ready for the start of the second half. Tartan North with a 3-goal outburst in the second quarter to take a 3-goal lead here at Polar High and Polar Stadium in North St. Paul. Once again, Alex Weston with you here as we get set for the start of the second half here from Polar Stadium. 24 minutes separating these teams from a decision. We are near the end of the season and the decision time that certainly will be coming soon for the Section 4A standings. Of course, in the past, we've made reference to Minnesota-Scores.net's QRF ranking, sort of a pairwise equivalent, and this is how it would be now. Is this currently a Section 4? Stillwater, Irondale, Matamidi, White Bear Lake, all at the top of Section 4 in their usual spots. The question just becomes, where will they fall? I imagine it'll be somewhere remarkably similar to what you see on your screen in front of you. St. Paul at 5th in Section 4, then Roseville, Hill Murray, Mounds View, and Tartan North rounding out the Section 4 standings. Again, one of these teams will be qualifying for stage just one class in boys and girls lacrosse. I think I speak for lacrosse fans across the state of Minnesota, where the goal eventually, as the sport continues to grow in popularity across the state, is to have multiple classes, but that's a little bit of ways off. Hopefully in the not too distant future. Chris Stoltzman, Ian Felix, and Stephen Adams are camera operators tonight. David Schuyler, Arlen Becker in the truck, our SEC production crew on this Thursday. Again, talked about how well everyone's done handling COVID this year, perhaps none more so than our camera operators and our truck folks. Risking life and limb to be able to set up these broadcasts, not just outside in the stadiums, but in the ice arenas and the gymnasiums across the state as well. We always are appreciative of their efforts and continue to be as we move forward. We'll have a face-off here again at center to resume play here in the second quarter. St. Paul and the Bobcats have been held scoreless for about 12 and a half minutes now. Here's their last goal came with 39 seconds in the first quarter. And again, McGuire Kistner has been very strong. He's gotten some help from the posts a little bit, but very strong. As right off the draw, Jacob Schwinghammer on the board, the 6th Tartan North player to score this evening. And the lead again extends itself to 4.
Scoring for Tartan North, number 2, Jacob Schwinghammer.
Nice shot by Schwinghammer. As off the face-off, he just was able to work around, got that outside edge, and fired it past the goaltender, Ruben Santos McCauley. And that'll give Tartan North a 4-goal lead, as the Bobcats have led by as many as 1. Done so a number of times, though. And Tartan again extending their biggest lead of the night now to 4 goals. So Schwinghammer and Somerville on the draw for their respective schools. Schwinghammer left, Somerville right. As you saw there on your screen, Somerville moved just a little bit too early. So play resumes again for Tartan North on their side of the restraining line. Schwinghammer goes back again further for Brandon Moreland. Moreland leads all scorers with 2 goals tonight. Otherwise, a combination of 9 other individuals have a goal apiece for both teams. Schwinghammer again. Schwinghammer evades one stick check, able to evade another. Trying to sidearm that ball back over, is able to do so further again there for Nolan Flom. Flom looking for the outlet, goes all the way back again. Schwinghammer. Schwinghammer pushes down and low further again for Tartan North, as there's a number of players. Gavin Bouchy all the way down and low, racing for it. Putzier is unable to save it as the ball goes out of bounds. Clock will wind, possession again for the Bobcats. Leo Brock. Up ahead further now, Charlie Ishens, who has the latest goal for the St. Paul Bobcats. A ground ball intended for Jackson Adkins, skips on the ground, out of bounds, and another break for Tartan North. As the breaks were going in way of St. Paul in the first quarter, however, Tartan and North in the second quarter and beyond have been getting the ball to bounce their way. Here's Anthony Keene now. Keene with possession. Cradling there, a well-delivered stick check on the base of the stick there by Jacob King. Shoveled further ahead now into the attacking third for Damian Cunningham. Cunningham racing through, shoves off one tackler, scores! Beautiful shot by Damian Cunningham, able to shove away Kevin Hine, and that's the first goal for the St. Paul Bobcats since the 39-second mark of the third quarter.
13, Damian Cunningham.
Can you see there, Ishens pass up ahead to Cunningham, gave him a golden opportunity. McGuire Kistner, who had been red hot, you saw there on the tail end of that, the stick broken by the junior Kevin Hine. And personally, I don't blame him. I'd be frustrated too. Pretty good defensive effort there, but Kistner, I think, cheating just to the middle just a little bit. Is off the face-off. It's a 3-goal game once again. Schwinghammer picks this one up. He's got speed into the slot. Deferred down and low to Moreland. Recovered here by Putzier. Putzier slings one low underneath. Underhand shot. Tecito closest to it. So Tartan North will maintain possession. Tecito will have to go back to the spot where the ball went out of bounds. Is navigated by the official. Now the clock will wind again. Tecito. Sided further up ahead now for Owen Colshaw-Klein. Owen looking for an outlet, has Putzier down and low, trying to work around someone. Closed out there a little bit, and the pass forced by Owen Jekyll. Ground ball here, Leo Milan. Milan will spin around, working his way back to the middle. Puts it on a ground ball there for Miles Wurst. Wurst lost his footing in the turf here at North High, but able to maintain possession. Ball put down and low, scooped up again by Owen Colshaw-Klein, now finally able to do so. Trying to work around, racing past Jack Atkins with a shot, good save made by the goaltender, Santos McCauley. As the racing runner, Owen Colshaw-Klein, was able to get around the defender and create a good chance. Putzier with some space, defers again, Milan. Milan from the left side, shot on at the feet of Santos McCauley, wide to the right, possession again for Tartan North. Colshaw-Klein to restart. We'll reset all the way back again here for Miles Wurst. 9:09 remaining here, third quarter. Tartan North 7, St. Paul Bobcats 4. Screen again set by Putzier. Whistle blows. We'll have a violation that gets called and a turnover that the Bobcats will use. Possession again midfield. Great, well-timed stick delivered by Miles Wurst. Big collision down as well. The flag is up as Damian Cunningham steps over the Tartan North player whom he checked, Wesley Mandler, but he'll be heading to the penalty area. It'll be a man-up situation. The officials will converge at the big red N at midfield to discuss it. We'll see what the call on the field is. It's navigated by this official. 13, illegal body check. 2 minutes, non-releasable. So it'll be a 2-minute penalty and then some. As a call will be made against Damian Cunningham for an illegal body check. And that's when you see the official make that shoulder straight up sign. That's the definition and the explanation there. So a 2-minute non-releasable penalty here for the Bobcats, as this will give Tartan North their first man-up situation in a while. They had 3 in the first quarter, did not have any in the second quarter. A 2-minute non-releasable will give them a milestone of a chance here. Down and low, good shot, ooh, side of the net to the left. Can be recovered again here by Tartan North as they'll recover again onto the right side. Gavin Bucci for Putzier. Putzier faked the shot, nice fake, works his way back in the middle, scores! Greg Putzier, man up, second man up goal of the evening for Tartan North, and the lead once again is 4.
Scoring for Tartan North, number 9, Breck Putzier. Unassisted, 8:17, third quarter.
Oh, what a goal here by Putzier. Was on that power play, that man-up situation, shoves off one check, and then just fires it home. The goaltender Santos McCauley guessed high. Well, that shot was aiming low, but the man-up situation continues here for the Bobcats. As again, Damian Cunningham still on a knee, the 2-minute non-releasable for an illegal body check. As they'll battle for it here on the face-off. Schwinghammer using every ounce of the body, trying to force possession back the other way, but a good recovery there by Somerville for the Bobcats as the ball comes back to the midfield area. Putzier battling for it, nice play by Brock Putzier, working around the long stick midfielder Jackson Adkins. Putzier work his way back down and low behind the net for the Bobcats, looking for an outlet, finds it again, Moreland. Schwinghammer closed out well and effectively by Leo Brock from Highland Park for the St. Paul Bobcats. And that possession can be reset once again here by Tartan North. 7:38 remaining, third quarter, 8-4. Our score here between the Titans and the Bobcats. And there he is again. There goes that man, Breck Putzier, on a beautiful pass out in front. A 5-goal lead now for Tartan North as Putzier has his third of the evening. Again, it was pretty good passing out in front. That's what that man-up situation does, as you see here. Moreland working his way on in, got a head of steam, and then Putzier wide open, all out in front. And when you leave the leading goal scorer for Tartan North, now with 26 goals on the season, when you leave a man like that, wide open like that, he's going to find the back of the net. And he did so to give Tartan North a 5-goal lead. So it'll be Milan and Somerville on the face-off here. Play resuming as they'll dig for a good win by Somerville for the Bobcats. He'll cut it back, looking again to reset. Goes back for the midfield line. Well read by Anthony Keene for Tartan North as the ball still battled for on the ground. Still knocked up in the air. Keene uses the shoulder to push it forward along. Now all the way into the crease, and Putzier able to force it back behind the net to reset play again here for Tartan North. And still time remaining on the man-up situation here for Tartan. They have 2 goals already on this man-up situation. That gives them 3 man-up goals tonight. Tocito, Leo Milan. Reset again here back further for Gavin Bucci. Shot on into the feet of the goaltender Santos McCauley. He scoops it up and will restart play again. Good play made by the Bobcats as they'll shove a man further up ahead now. The possession will be gained here again to the left side. Choosing to slow it down and restart play was Owen Jekyll, who got the scoring started for the Bobcats all the way back in the first quarter. Racing down in, shot from Cunningham, skips wide to the left, goes out of bounds. Bobcats are closest to it, so possession stays with St. Paul. We reset again here, Mac Rosbacka, Johnson High School governor. Rosbacka working his way on in. Kistner comes out to challenge. A wise decision by McGuire Kistner as he challenges the shooter Mac Rosbacka and makes another strong save. Pass through the midfield area. Intercepted by St. Paul Bobcats. Going back here again, Somerville. Somerville for St. Paul. Trying to find his way to navigate around. We'll go back again further here now for Damian Cunningham. Reset once more, Jekyll. Jekyll walks to the left-hand side there of Tevet, works his way in, he scores. That was a nice pass on that right-hand side, as it was a good shot delivered by Owen Jekyll. And if you're the Tartan North team, you gotta wonder, step up on the shooter there, cause him a little bit of hesitation.
For St. Paul, number 18, Charlie Ishins.
As we'll take a look at it here, again working his way on in. Again, a nice shot. As that one finds the back of the net, the goal is to number 16, Owen Jekyll. That'll be his second of the night. So 5 goals from 4 different goal scorers for St. Paul Bobcats, as it's 9-5 with 5:37 remaining here in the third quarter. There's a conversation with the official and the scorers table on the far side here of Polar Stadium. Now a conversation with Kevin Lindahl, Cole Leitch, and the coaching staff for the Tartan North team. Officials now gathering to check their notes on the game. So a brief pause here. 5:37 remaining third quarter, 9-5. Tartan North out in front. Again, not sure what this conversation's about, but it is extended. It was 3-3 after the first quarter, as the two teams traded goals through the first 12 minutes of play, then a 3-goal outburst by Tartan North in the second quarter that gave them the 6-3 lead going into the half. And just like in the first quarter, goals have been traded here in the third, as 2 goals for St. Paul Bobcats and 3 goals for Tartan North have made the difference. So we will have a timeout here, it would appear, as this timeout, I believe,
not sure who called it,
will be taken by St. Paul. But again, not sure who took the timeout. So timeout taken again with 5:37 remaining in this quarter. So again, upcoming schedules for these two teams. Again, we're winding down. The strength of schedule so far for the St. Paul Bobcats is something that we've talked about, where their strength of schedule, teams that they have played so far coming into play today, a record of 16-36, good for a winning percentage of 30.8. They're scheduled the rest of the way.
No time
So
out,
have
just a goalie change.
Oh, it's a goalie change. Oh, thanks, James. Wish I would have known that. As there'll be a goaltending change. Again, James Huss, who is the PA announcer for Polar Athletics, one of the finer ones in the Metro East Conference, informing, of course, that there is a goaltending change. And the goaltender now in goal, as this will be the first goaltender not named Ruben Santos Macaulay to get action for
goalkeeper is number 8, Becker
the
Lewis.
Bobcats this year. As you see him on the screen, number 8, the 8th grader from Highland Park Middle School, Becker Lewis, who will draw into play there. Again, you see the red helmet for the Highland Park Scott. So the goaltender change made at 5:37. And a big moment for the 8th grader. Again, one of the advantages of the Highland Park campus, that the middle school and the high school are connected. Many of the classes between the two are in each other's building. So some familiarity there, certainly. But again, the upcoming schedule for St. Paul Bobcats after tonight at Sibley, at Breck, and then home games to close out their season at St. Paul Central to Roseville, Hill Murray, and Hermantown Proctor. On the other side for North Tartan, they're scheduled the rest of the way. After today, they'll host Park of Cottage Grove, Duluth, and the Wolfpack, actually back-to-back Wolfpack games for those two. Then at Woodbury and at home to Rochester Century. Again, just 2 games played here at Polar Stadium. The other game played against the Park of Cottage Grove Wolfpack here on May the 3rd, a 14-11 loss for the Tartan North Co-op. As we'll have possession here off the violation for the Bobcats. Can be found all the way out further now, Charlie Ishins. All the way back further, top, nice shot, score! Beautiful shot on the right-hand side, gotten to, fired home. Owen Jekyll with 3 on the night. And the lead now 3 for Tartan North. Well, and as crisp as passing as Tartan North has had, Jekyll started some great passing there as well for the Bobcats. Somerville pass further again there by Ishans for the Bobcats. Just great passing by St. Paul. So the goal coming, 5:23. That's 3 goals in the night for Jekyll. He leads all goal scorers for the Bobcats. We'll have a face-off at midfield. Schwinghammer battling for it there again, able to scoop it up there from Somerville. And the ball back on the attacking side. Schwinghammer with some excellent muscling to avoid some pressure there, delivered by a couple of the Bobcats, still trying to get to the ball. Check delivered, nowhere near the ball. Schwinghammer still battling for it. He takes it away. Ground ball scooped up, whistle blows. The possession for the Bobcats. It'll be Damian Cunningham to start it. He leads a team in points coming into play today. Owen Jekyll has passed him for goals, as a pair had 15 coming into play today. Jekyll now with 18, Cunningham with 16. Here's a runner though, Cunningham now 17 goals, and the lead quickly has been closed to 2 goals for Tartan North as Cunningham finds his second of the night.
Scoring for St. Paul, number 13, Damian Cunningham.
The Johnson Governor, Damian Cunningham, just gets the motor running and trying to work around to the right-hand side. Defended very well by Gavin Bucci for Tartan North, but Cunningham has a great shot. He's able to fire past McGuire Kistner there. All of a sudden, Tartan North feeling comfortable, but the lead has been closed to 2, 9-7, 4:44 remaining here, third quarter of play. Face off at center. Battling for it, the LSM unable to win it there by James Somerville. Ground ball forced, check delivered there. Ball still on the ground. Beautiful shoulder delivered by Nolan Flom for Tartan North, but he lost it on the ground. Scooped up there briefly, trying to get to it there was Somerville, still battling for it on the ground. Look at this beautiful play made by a couple of the teams on both sides. Still battling for it, checked out of the play. Somerville has a body play, not there. There's a check delivered again by Charlie Ishans to create the space as it still goes back further again. Another turnover, well delivered. Hit with the cross there by Leo Brock to force the ball back over the restraining line. Chaos reigns here. We have a whistle that will blow. Offsides is called, or too many players on one side has been called. And so possession for Tartan North, that'll slow things down a little bit. As far as restarts to play, that's one of the more chaotic ones which one has seen. So Tartan North to restart it. Here's Miles Wurst. He got the first Tartan North goal, able to maintain possession. Great cradling there. On the ball, goes back to the far side again, Colshaw Klein. Colshaw Klein trying to get around Ishans. Ishans fake the check there, whistle blows. And again, we have violation called on the restraining line there, so possession back the other way for St. Paul Bobcats. St. Paul has scored each of the last 2 goals to cut it to a 2-goal lead. 9-7 the score. Possession back again. Jekyll. Cunningham has it at the point. We'll wait for it at the point here as he tries to get the lines to change. Here is Somerville will head off. He'll be replaced again by Caker. Ground ball forced there by Colshaw Klein for Tartan North. Grace Collins sidearm all the way back again to Kistner to restart once more for the Tartan North co-op. So Kistner will walk it up out of the goaltending crease. Evades the pressure there, goes all the way back to the far side once again, and a well-received pass there by Carter Ekstrom. Ekstrom into traffic. There's a ball recovered here by the Bobcats, Charlie Ishans. Further up ahead now, still trying to work his way back up there is Breck Putzier. Again, possession once more for the Bobcats as Damian Cunningham with speed working around again. Ekstrom, Cunningham will cut it back again, a restart. Cunningham, pass out in front, good catch, good defense there by Milan, and he just spiked it low. Good chance there by Charlie Ishans streaking on, and the ball just spiked ever so low and unable to get past McGuire Kistner. Whistle blows, clock resumes. Caker We'll go all the way back to midfield here now for Owen Jekyll. Over the midfield line, whistle blows. Possession on the over and back in favor of Tartan North. Tecito to start it. Gathered up here by Leo Milan. Milan, as the flag is down, chance back the other way. Good play, able to keep it alive. Milan's shot wide to the left past the new goaltender, Becker Lewis. The ball is out of bounds. We'll see what the flags are, but possession for Tartan North. Can you see there the shots on goal now? 14-13 in favor of Tartan North. So we have a push. That got called, I believe, on both. Yeah, it looks like it'll be just a technical. Yep, just a technical for both players. This will be a two-man-up situation now for Tartan North. They have 4 goals on a man-up situation so far tonight. Milan, Tecito, back for Milan. Reset at the top of the arc. Going all the way back further again, Bucci. Schwinghammer. Bucci again. Once again, Milan shot wide to the left, was looking to go on the left-hand side of the goaltender, Becker Lewis. Tartan North there first, though. As we'll go all the way back again, Brandon Moreland to restart play for Tartan North. He has 2 goals on the night. Putzier leads all Tartan North scores with 3. Moreland, now that the whistle blows, streaking in. Tried to scoop it down and low. Moreland again able to go pick up his own misplay. Putzier, Schwinghammer. Schwinghammer, Bucci. Bucci looking again here, Leo Milan. Milan to Tecito. Tecito looking for the outlet, goes back behind again, all the way for Moreland, out in front, and unable to finish that off was Milan. Defended very well on the closeout by the Bobcats, as Eichen's able to close out. The good chance there, big body collision, as the Bobcats are about to return to full strength. Cunningham on the sidearm play here, made further again for Somerville. Somerville back further again now here, Eichen's. That's not Eichen's, rather again, that's Owen Jekyll. That's a 16, you see on your screen there, that's 16, remarkably close to a closed 8. Perhaps a change that Bobcats would not mind making. Shot out in front, was looking again for a open Rosbacka out in front. Bobcats are closest to it. Possession will stay here. 50 seconds remaining here, third quarter, 9-7 the score. Kaker. Back down and low, working his way in front. Beautiful shot, loose ball, score. 1-goal game as Emmett Eichens, a freshman from Highland Park, has brought the Bobcats to within 1. There is flags down on the field, as the goal itself will actually be waved off. So the goal has been waved off. This will be a technical called to Tartan North, so no goal on that, so it's back to a 2-goal game. I'm afraid I'm not sure why that one got waved off. Clock winds, play resumes. Semlak. Back all the way again, out to reset to the far side, looking to go. Beautifully timed play by Keene for Tartan North. Racing back into the far side, he's got 27 seconds here. Chance now again, Tecito defers, Putzier, shot wide to the right, off the foot of the goaltender, Lewis. Ball will go out of bounds, and Bobcats able to get a play. What a rush on the counterattack by Tartan North. Clock will wind. Long pass further up ahead over the restraining line, all the way back through the midfield area. Closed out there by Grace Collins. A battle for it. Grace Collins with a long stick on it. Goes all the way back again, trying to get to it once more. James Somerville battling for it near the out-of-bounds line. Grace Collins comes away with it for Tartan North. Putzier collides with Schwinghammer. Schwinghammer whistle blows, and the horn will sound as we've hit zeros here in the third quarter. And once again, a back and forth third quarter, as Tartan scored 3 times in that third quarter, but the Bobcats scored 4, as we've got us a 2-goal game at the end of this third quarter. Tartan North 9, St. Paul Bobcats with 7. Well, if you're joining us late, Here's the story of the game so far. The two teams traded goals through the first quarter as it finished 3-3. Then after about 6 minutes of well-timed, well-executed defensive efforts at the half, 6-3, Tartan North led. And again, as in the first half, in the first quarter, back and forth goal scoring. And again, with just one more for St. Paul Bobcats in that third quarter, as that's closed the lead for Tartan North to 2. Largest lead of the game for Tartan North has been 5. Again, you take a look at some of the highlights here from throughout the contest here. And both teams have gotten their fair share of chances. And it's been the stars we've expected. Breck Putzier with 3 goals on the night for Tartan North. Brandon Moreland with a pair. On the other side for the St. Paul Bobcats, Owen Jekyll from Highland Park with 3. Damian Cunningham from Johnson with a pair, which just proves that Governors and Scots can get along just fine. And we are in for a very exciting conclusion and a very exciting finish in the last 12 minutes here of this one. We'll take a look again at the upcoming schedules for these two teams, if we do have a moment as the teams start to make their way out. Again, for the Tartan Titans and the North St. Paul Polars Cooperative, not sure what a combination between a Titan and a Polar would look like. Upcoming, Park of Cottage Grove, Duluth, at Woodbury, home to Rochester Century. The upcoming schedules you see there. Again, we have also tacked on the win-loss records of both of those teams as the remaining contests for Tartan North. 2 will be against teams with winning records. 2 will be against teams without winning records. That's upcoming for Tartan North and the Cooperative formed this season. Cooperative, I think, has been going very well. Face off at center. Schwinghammer and Somerville. We've seen this matchup a couple of times tonight. And the thing for both of these players, the biggest thing, has been players moving quick before the whistle sounds. As Somerville able to win that draw back, play can be resumed once again. Over the restraining line, Owen Jekyll with a shot. Bobcats still with possession out here in front, still battling for it. Good play made by Grace Collins to win that away with the LSM. Ball on the ground, Sean Cashin. Cashin kicks it further up ahead, over the restraining line to the midfield areas, hops back over that restraining line to the midfield area. Scooped up again, Cunningham. Cunningham will take it to the far side. And we'll reset play again. Ishins. Ishins will gather himself up, goes back here to the near hand side. Once again, back for Somerville. Cunningham with possession in the midfield area. Cunningham will get double teamed here a little bit by Keene, coming over to assist Cashin for Tartan North. Cunningham with a head of steam. Cunningham shot, he scores! That one will count. It's a 1-goal game.
Scoring for St. Paul, number 13, Damian Cunningham.
And Damian Cunningham, the senior,
10:58 fourth quarter.
with his third of the night. Pair of hat tricks for Cunningham and Jekyll now. And when he has this speed going like he does, he gets to that outside edge. No chance for a goaltender. No chance for McGuire Kistner on that one. So a 1-goal game now. Here as we have just started the fourth quarter. Here from Polar High School, Polar Stadium. Beautiful North St. Paul. 10:58 remaining, fourth quarter. Face off at center. Dugout again here. Somerville's done a very good job on these face-offs for St. Paul Bobcats against Jacob Schwinghammer. Somerville. Waiting Keene on the right-hand side. Goes all the way back down low further for Kai Semlak on the right side corner. Semlak. Able to avoid again. Goes all the way back for Somerville. Somerville creating some separation here from Anthony Keene. We got to all the way back again here once more for Owen Jekyll. Jekyll working to the right side. He'll stop, cut back. Cashin on pressure. Forces them to defer further again for Mac Rosbacka behind the net. Rosbacka once more for Semlak. Semlak on a ground ball, forced and assisted by Carter Ekstrom. Still recovered here once again by the Bobcats. Out in front, Osbaka trying the effortless sidearm shot, but closed out by Keene. And the possession taken away again by Tartan North, but an unforced error at Atticus Danielson on a good recovery as the ball got into once again behind. Corey Grace Collins slow things down, and Tartan North's Owen Colshaw-Klein over the midfield line. Colshaw-Klein goes back to the far side, chance now Leo Milan. Milan forced on a nice check delivered by Jackson Adkins, the Highland Park Scot, before it can be taken back again on the other way on the counterattack. Adkins down and low, looking for, unable to get a clean pass over to Semlak as the ball flung down the midfield area over a couple of Bobcats. Tecito going further here now as Tartan North has a numbers advantage. Tecito picks up the loose ball and is able to evade Adkins and slow things down again. 9:09 remaining here, fourth quarter. Tartan North 9, St. Paul Bobcats with 8. Miles Worst. Tecito. Onto the oncoming player here from the near side. Chance there for Noah Schwinghammer into the equipment as the Bobcats have made a change back to Ruben Santos McCauley in net. It's just for the third quarter for just a little bit. Relief time for Becker Lewis. They've gone back now to Ruben Santos McCauley in net. Past Noah Schwinghammer. Scooped up by Miles Worst. Tried to anyway. As Ross Backer with a stick check to delay him briefly. Another well-timed stick check on the far side by Charlie Ishins. Ball out of bounds, far side. Possession for Tartan North. Again, waiting for play to resume. The ball can be got to here by Tartan North as it's worked all the way further along now. Again here once more by Gavin Bucci. Bucci to cut it back to the midfield area. Leo Milan. Milan works his way here to the near side, trying to find Breck Putzier, is able to find him. Putzier navigates around Leo Brock defensively. Putzier with a sidearm pass, looking out in front for Noah Schwinghammer. Picked up Tecito, shot wide as it hit off of somebody out in front. It's gathered up here again by Berlin. Chance now again, Putzier working his way through traffic. Shot scores on the ground. 5-hole 4 on the night for Breck Putzier, and the lead extended back to 2.
Scoring for Tartan North, number 9, Breck Putzier, unassisted.
Well, pretty good passing too by Breck Putzier.
Putzier all alone, 7:53.
And if you join us for lacrosse this year, those 5-hole shots scooped off the ground, so difficult for a lacrosse goaltender to try to make the save on that. So that breaks Tartan North into the double digits on goals scored for the first time since May the 4th against Henry Sibley, their last win as well. All told, Tartan North has been in double digits for goals scored in 4 games they've played this season. Schwinghammer out the face-off. Again, the battle between Schwinghammer and Somerville continues. Back on the attacking side, well-delivered stick check there by Moreland. Ball is out of bounds. Who gets possession? Tartan North. Putzier working his way in, has to get around Leo Brock first, is able to do so briefly, but assistance provided by Atkins to deny Putzier. Putzier working his way back into the dirty area, scores! Breck Putzier makes him pay. 5 goals on the night for the senior, and the lead ballooning again for Tartan North.
Tartan North, number 9, Breck Putzier, unassisted, 7:25, fourth quarter.
So the 3-goal lead restored again for Tartan North. And again, you see the goaltender, Ruben Santos McCauley, almost as if saying he couldn't see it. And this is why. Putzier through 4 separate stick checks by the Bobcats. Pretty good guess by Santos McCauley too, but if you can't see the ball, there's not much you can do about it. So Breck Putzier, 5 goals on the evening. The lead again, 3 now for Tartan North. Schwinghammer trying to take the ball out on the face-off, goes back into the attacking side, and again, Sean Cashin trying to carry the ball up, ball batted down here again for Schwinghammer. Schwinghammer scores! Had Tecito on the right side, took the shot himself. Jacob Schwinghammer with his second of the night, and the Tartan offense on fire once again.
Schwinghammer, unassisted, 7:14, fourth quarter. Schwinghammer alone, 7-14 for Tartan North.
So after St. Paul Bobcats had gotten it to as few as one.
Timeout called by the Bobcats.
A wise timeout here, as Tartan North has scored 3 goals consecutively to extend the lead back to 4 and put pressure again on the St. Paul Bobcats. As the Tartan offense has been on fire tonight. And again, the reason why you see on the screen, Breck Putzier, Jake Schwinghammer, and Brandon Moreland. A combined 9 goals of the 12 for Tartan North this evening, as Tartan North leads by 4 with 7:14 remaining in this quarter. Again, taking a look at the Bobcats' schedule coming up, they have a few games remaining, 2 more on this road trip, as they'll be at Henry Sibley on Wednesday of next week, and then at Breck as well. So I think that game against Breck is canceled, so that'll be just at Henry Sibley. And then Roseville, Henry Sibley, and the Rails of Proctor Hermantown remaining on the schedule for St. Paul boys lacrosse as they look to close out their season in Section 4. Again, this game tonight with plenty of Section 4 playoff implications as we are winding quickly towards section play. A reminder as well, you can check out other sports in addition to the high school that we have here, as you can find St. Paul Saints broadcasts available in limited quantity, as they've made partnerships deals with stations such as ours to cover St. Paul Saints games this year as they make the move to AAA, a homestand with the Iowa Cubs and the Indianapolis Indians on the schedule for the Saints, as well as the Minnesota Vixen women's professional football. I'll be there for their next road game at Des Moines. You can join me and Brian Sweeney every road game here on Suburban Community Channels, TV 19. On the face-off violation, the whistle blows. Possession again for St. Paul Bobcats. They've scored in bunches before, but the question remains, can they do it again? With now under 7 minutes remaining fourth quarter. On the rush, beautiful play denied by Schwinghammer, finds the scoop, scores anyway. Take a breath and you'll miss him. As a nice shot on by Owen Jekyll gives him his 4th of the night. And there is the response. As again, you see there, great speed. Jekyll on that left-hand side got past Schwinghammer. And then that extra level of assistance there by Wesley Mandler, unable to deny the senior Jekyll. So that's his 4th of the night. That leads all Bobcat scores. It's a 3-goal game again at 12-9. Digging for it off the draw, Schwinghammer able to win that one against Somerville. He'll go back onto his own defensive side, dangerously so. Cashin able to pick up the loose ball again. Cashin evades Rossbacker's check. Unable to do so now. The whistle will blow. Timeout as Kevin Lindahl able to sneak a timeout in there before the whistle blows and before the turnover had been completed. And so we'll have timeout on the field. 6:33 remaining here in quarter number 4. Tartan North 12, St. Paul Bobcats 9. If you're joining us late, again, here's how we got here. The two teams traded goals in the first quarter, 3 goals apiece. Then in the second quarter, 3 goals unanswered by Tartan North gave the co-op in Air Force Blue and Silver a 6-3 lead at the end of the first half. The two teams would trade goals again to the point where it would be 9-7 at the end of the third quarter. Then here, a 3 unanswered streak by Tartan North to give them a 12-8 lead before St. Paul Bobcats responded with another goal of their own to make it once more a 3-goal game. Again, there's head coach Aaron Lipkin with assistant coaches Jake Prokop and Tucker Benjamin, the trainer for St. Paul Bobcats. As again, looking at their overall record, independent in the Minnesota State High School League, 5-2 coming into play today for the St. Paul Bobcats. It's another goaltending change as Santos McCauley, who wasn't to start the fourth quarter, is now back out. Becker Lewis, the middle schooler, is back in for St. Paul Bobcats, and play will resume. Breck Putzier on the right side. Putzier able to work his way back behind the net, trying to work around defensively. Leo Brock with a nice check. Putzier shoves him away. Pass intended for Moreland, goes all the way back onto the ground. Ball can be scooped up further once more here by Charlie Eichens for the Bobcats. Long pass further up ahead, too strong on that one by Becker Lewis, but it's gotten to here by Jekyll. Jekyll working his way in as the stick breaks on the stick check delivered by Nolan Flom. He'll have to get a new piece of lumber. And the ball all the way back here again. Cunningham with speed, well-timed check delivered by Darren Tevet, and the ball can be taken back the other way. Through the center field area, a chance once again now, Gavin Bushy. As the flag is up, Tecito's able to play it now, so free possession, free play for Tartan North as a stick by Flom is chucked onto the near side here by one of the officials. Milan. The near side, Moreland unable to keep it in front of him. The whistle blows. Another man-up situation for Tartan North. So the official will go to the table on the near side. We'll have a cross-check, 1 minute. That'll get called. 4 goals with a man advantage so far for Tartan North, as they lead 12-3, or 12-9, excuse me, with 5:20 remaining. Putzier, as the whistle blows, communicating with Schwinghammer out of the point, he'll walk it in. Putzier, Schwinghammer, goes back for Putzier again. Schwinghammer once more. He's sitting at the top of the point, Putzier left side. Putzier able to work around, tried to regather himself off the helmet of Schwinghammer. Ball can be battled for, pressure delivered there, still on the ground, still battling for it, gotten to here. Good recovery by Leo Milan. Tecito on the right side. Back again, Milan. Milan able to avoid some pressure here, and a good job of drawing another penalty flag onto the field. Tecito hit off of the ball there, off the cross rather, as players collide. Another flag is up. St. Paul Bobcats appear to be heading there, and again, no intent, as you saw Charlie Eichens go over to check on Putzier and say, hey, my fault. Didn't mean to do that. So have a couple of flags get assessed as going over towards the penalty area. Charlie Eichens for 1. I have a 1 minute for a cross check again. That will be called here, as both 18 and 16, Owen Jekyll and Charlie Eichens, will head off. So a 3-man up situation for Tartan North. And here we go. Putzier, Schwinghammer, back for Putzier again, near side. Putzier's shot wide to the right, no chance for that one. Highway 36 had a pretty good look at it though. Moreland, to regain it again, 3-man up situation here for Tartan North. Moreland, pass out in front, Schwinghammer, unable to cradle it, played there. Good check delivered by Leo Brock. Putzier, shot, good save, made by the 8th grader Becker Lewis. Ball still battled for on the ground, still looking to find its possession there. Now it's scooped up again here by Putzier. Still 3-man up now. Putzier's shot, good save by the goaltender, Becker Lewis, raising the stick high. And the 8th grader shows experience well beyond his years. Flag is up, just the one. The one flag is up as Tartan will try to get to it first and try to make that whistle blow to start the man up time. As the ball now out of bounds, and we'll get the official call here. St. Paul Bobcats parents, none too keen on it. The official took a look to the near side where there's a handful of parents and students near side. We'll have a non-releasable penalty here. Once we get the official calls, the official will go over back to the far side. Cross check, 2-minute non-releasable. So that'll be the call here. So we got 3:44 remaining, 12-9, Tartan North up front. Brandon Moreland with 2 goals on the night for Tartan North will take a seat, take a knee rather, for 2 minutes. Owen Jekyll, 4 goals on the night. Right in the middle of the polar end. Clock will wind, 2 minutes of non-releasable man-up situation time for the Bobcats. Working his way on in, deferred down and low, pass in front, high, no. Odd that the pass did not go there, as Ross Bacca had Emmett Eichens open in front. Pass just a little too high. A loose ball. Cunningham looking for the outlet, finds it all the way back again at the point once more for Eichens. Battle for on the ground, can be scooped up there again by Eichens. Good recovery there by the sophomore. On the ground, great play by Keene. Back the other way for Tartan. It's all the way back on the far side, ball high into the air. Keene still looking for it, collided there. Good shoulder check delivered by Cunningham. Still loose back on the attacking side of the midfield line for the Bobcats. Chance now again for St. Paul. Leo Brock. All the way back inside, well-timed stick by Tori Grace Collins. The ball still here further. Keene further up ahead now, looking, intended pass there for Darren Tevet. Goes further now, chance. Darren Tevet trying to work his way around. Sidearm pass, trying to find its way in. And another strong save by the 8th grader Becker Lewis. Puts here. Looking again for the outlet, timeout on the field. That's Kevin Lindahl. We'll burn another timeout. 2:27 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Again, still time on the non-releasable penalty to Brandon Moreland. And it is a 3-goal game here at Polar High. Again, our upcoming broadcasts here on Suburban Community Channels of high school sports. We'll be back at it next Friday at White Bear Lake Area High School. Tartan North at the Bears in another Section 4 preview. Earnhardt Jaworski will be back with me for that one. Then after that, a couple of playoff games on our schedule. Coming up on June the 4th and June the 9th, depending on the teams and the locations for where those games may be played. Certainly in Section 4, the favorite certainly has to be Stillwater. Irondale, Matamita, White Bear Lake, all in that conversation as well. And as we found out in 2019, Section 4 can be wild when it comes to playoffs in boys and girls lacrosse. Again, there you see it. That's what we have coming up. Again, that's boys or girls lacrosse. Whichever teams make it are the teams that will be there for. You take a look at the successes at the 3 schools that we represent. Tartan, White Bear Lake, and Matamita have had this year. Certainly a good year for all these teams. New section seedings coming up next year as well for all sports. New opponents, new rivals. Certainly can't wait for August and September to start this all off again on time as well. So the timeout taken by Tartan. They'll have possession here. Puts here. Trying to get around. Stick check there again. Tartan trying to wind the clock as much as they can. As again, Moreland's still on a knee and a non-releasable penalty here. Puts here. Fades a couple stick checks there by Leo Brock. Puts here still with possession, trying to return chance back to the center, but he's wise and he chooses to defer back again to wind more clock. Puts here. Strong pass further, caught well before being forced out of bounds, and the ball can be scooped up here back again the other way by the Bobcats, Jackson Atkins. Atkins cradling the ball over the midcourt line, further up ahead now. All the way back again for Matt Grosbacka. Inside 2 minutes remaining. Grosbacka. Further here now again for Adkins, as the non-releasable has been killed off. And Tartan North returns to full strength. Chance again, working his way in. He scores 5 goals on the night for Owen Jekyll, and it's a 2-goal game.
Scoring for St. Paul, number 16, Owen Jekyll.
Alan Jekyll
Unassisted.
got the scoring started for Tartan North, or for St. Paul Bobcats. And just a wonderful effort by that young man. So have another face-off here at center. 1:30 remaining. It's Jekyll again, battling with Damian Cunningham for the lead on the team in goals. Both came into play today with 15. Jekyll now with 20, and Cunningham with 18. Face-off is won by the Bobcats. Somerville on the ground. Cunningham able to get it free. Chance around, shoves off a couple of defenders, works his, wow! What an effort by the senior Damian Cunningham, and it's a one-goal game.
Scoring for St. Paul, number 13, Damian Cunningham, unassisted, 116.
Now the face-off was won by Somerville.
Cunningham on low, 116.
And it got further up ahead to Cunningham as he escaped through 3 defenders. What speed, what strength by the senior from St. Paul Johnson. And all of a sudden, with 1:16 remaining, a one-goal ball game. Schwinghammer and Somerville on the face-off again. Battling for it there. Still on the ground. Schwinghammer uses the body, forces it back again on the attacking side. High into the air. Ball can be gotten to here. Putsier has in the attacking side of midfield. Putsier, whistle blows, and this should be a violation. I thought we had a timeout. I guess we don't. Violation gets called on Tartan North, and so another chance here for St. Paul Bobcats. Atticus Danielson forced on the ground back to the midfield area. Keene able to intercept. Carrying back through midfield, Moreland scoops it up off the ground. Big collision delivered there. Checked decidedly so by Charlie Ishins as the flags are up and in the air. It's going to be a 1-minute penalty, not to Ishins, but to Jackson Adkins. As you see there on the far side, the knee has been taken. Take a look at this hit as Moreland trying to scoop it up, and boom. Adkins with the 1-minute penalty, so another man-up situation that will take the remainder of the time. If you're Tartan North, you have to be careful. How much offense do you want? How much do you want to wind the clock? There's another good save made by the 8th grade goaltender, Becker Lewis. Ball passed further up ahead from Lewis through the midfield area. Whistle blows, and timeout taken by St. Paul. Aside from the second quarter, a back-and-forth affair. As with 32 seconds remaining, Tartan North 12, St. Paul Bobcats 11. For these two teams, again, you look at their head-to-head matchup, again, both as Tartan and North individually. Tartan played St. Paul just once, a 10-0 victory, but North St. Paul, in their matchups, the first 2 times these teams played each other in 2015 and 2016, a 1-goal victory for North in 2016 and for St. Paul in 2015 in both of those matchups. So for the Polars, certainly familiar to these 1-goal close contests with St. Paul. For Tartan, learning opportunity. It's a timeout taken here, 32 seconds remaining here in this one. It's again thanks to our camera operators Ian Felix, Charlie Adams, and Chris Stoltzman, all the way on the far side. Excellent effort here tonight. As the sun has set, chills starting to set in here at Polar Stadium. James Huss, wonderful on PA announcements as always for most Polar athletics, I believe. Again, one of the best PA announcers in the Metro East. Out of the timeout, St. Paul Bobcats take it, 32 seconds remaining in the contest. St. Paul needs just 1 to tie. We'll see what we make of it here. Leo Brock will defer and allow Cunningham to restart. Damian Cunningham with 4 goals on the evening. Cunningham evades a couple of checkers here, back the other way for Tartan North. Cunningham turns on the Jets, trying to work around again Schwinghammer, who forces him to the outside. 20 seconds remaining. Cunningham and Schwinghammer still going at battle. Cunningham wins that one. Cunningham in front, ball's on the ground, scooped up by Putsier back the other way. And again with 10 seconds remaining, Putsier flings it high into the air. Where's it gonna land down? Will it matter? Where did it go? As the whistle will blow with 4 seconds, as I've never seen a player fling a ball that high into the air before. So 4 seconds remaining. here in this one. The question becomes, where is the ball placed? And they'll place it all the way back there. Long pass all the way from the opposite corner, high into the air, and somehow, miraculously, a back and forth battle. When it looked like St. Paul Bobcats were going to pull away with it, Tartan North with a strong possession. And again, when you have Damian Cunning like him like that, and Jacob Schwinghammer with a great battle down low,